So what are the 5 mistakes you absolutely want to avoid when it comes to selling your home? Well, check out this video because I'm going to cover them all. Hi everyone, I'm Arinzeh with ONYX Property Team and Keller Williams. Thanks again for checking out my YouTube video. As you know, I'm a London-based property agent and I work with both buyers and sellers and even landlords to help them achieve their real estate goals. So if this is your first time on my YouTube channel, I'd love it if you subscribe because I put out weekly video about the London property market as well as living in this fabulous city. In this video, it's all about my series of various tips I share with sellers to make sure that they can maximize their potential to get their home sold for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. So make sure to check out my other videos in this selling tips series. So let's dive in. Mistake number 1 that as a seller you want to make sure you avoid when it comes to selling your home, it's to overprice the property. Time kills deals, and yet sellers often select the agent that gives them the highest valuation for their home. This is a big mistake if that valuation isn't based on the current property market dynamics and competing alternative properties. Sellers tend to be very emotional and subjective when it comes to pricing their home by overlooking the flaws that many buyers will see. As an agent that works with many buyers, I can tell you, especially in a buyer's market, buyers won't even bother to consider your home if it's overpriced. And why should they? They have plenty of choice and will go after the many other properties in your area that are priced well below yours. So make sure you get that pricing right and make sure that it's data driven. Mistake number 2 is to not investing money to get their home sold. The irony is that while many sellers want top dollar, they don't want to invest any money into achieving that, or actually don't even consider it an investment. For many high street agents, the strategy is merely to take the listing on, and if it doesn't sell, go back to the vendor and tell them to reduce the price. There is no consultation on the front end. When I work with sellers, I try to honestly present to them options that will improve the value of their home for the lowest cost to achieve maximum impact. It could be simple fixes like making sure all of the light bulbs work, or it can be large improvements such as painting or changing out the carpet. I recently had a conversation with a potential seller whose carpeting in his lovely flat was quite dirty and knotted and just really had, spots and stains all over the place. It's competing with other flats that are on the market in the building who actually had changed out their flooring, giving a higher level finish. So again, if you're not pricing accordingly, you might want to put the money into investing into making sure you're doing the right things to elevate your home. These are strategic investments to help you ultimately to achieve the highest price in the current market. Remember, most buyers aren't looking for a fixer-upper, and while sellers will think that buyers should reflect it in the price they offer, many buyers, in fact, most buyers won't. Actually, it's the opposite. Buyers will think the seller should be realistically reflecting that in the price that they're asking. If there's too much of a gap, your home won't even compete and won't get any interest. This is a great example. It's a property I recently sold in America. It was in a building with 2 other units that were already on the market for sale, one priced above mine and one priced below. By investing $12,000, and I know it's a lot, I achieved $19,000 over the asking price and sold within 6 days of going on the market. Remember, I wasn't spending the money for the fun of it. It was because I knew my unit looked tired. With the refresh and staging, it now looked practically brand new and enough to get multiple buyers fighting over it and bidding it up. So remember, you can help yourself by decluttering, sprucing up paint, updating door handles, etc. that will go a long way to making your home sale ready. My job as an agent is to help advise you and then bring the professional stager, or even sometimes do it myself, where I can do so that we can take those great photographs. I love partnering with sellers that appreciate the value that I bring and are willing to do their part to get the maximum amount of money in this current market. Make sure to check out my recent video on how to get buyers to fall in love with your property, as I give some really practical tips that you can consider that don't cost a lot of money, but will go a long way to getting your home show ready and ready to put on the market. So let's move on to mistake number 3 that sellers should absolutely avoid. and that is to select the cheapest agent if they're not the best one. Many sellers will select the agent who charges the least in commission. This is really short-sighted as they might not be choosing the best agent. Also, one of the questions we like to ask sellers is it about the commission you pay or what you net in your pocket? Most, if not all, will respond that it's about what they net. We therefore try to help shift their mindset to make sure that they select the agent they believe is best qualified and positioned to achieve for them the best price. Why? Because beating your agent down to save, say, £3,000 in commission, it may end up costing you more in the long run if that agent has been disincentivized and puts little effort into effectively market your home, or when it comes to negotiating, actually taking a strong stand on your behalf. If their model is so low cost that there is little room to make a profit, why would they do more than the bare minimum for your listing, especially when they have plenty of other properties on their books where they're likely to achieve more money? Remember, if an agent can defend their value, how will they defend the value of your home? So moving on to mistake number 4, it's instructing multiple agents. Many sellers make the mistake of instructing multiple agents with the thought that they only have to pay one agent based on the winner-take-all strategy. They figure that while they pay slightly more in higher commission than a sole agency, they're creating agent competition and there is no harm. But there is actual harm and many downsides that you should consider before deciding if you really want to work under a multiple agency strategy. The first thing to consider is, are you actually creating agent motivation? Are you actually motivating those agents? While you think you're creating agent competition, it might actually discourage agents. Put it this way, if you had a 1 in 3 chance of earning a fee versus a 100% chance on a sole agency instruction, where would you put most of your time and effort? Well, most people would put it on the 100% chance. So when you as a seller create this scenario, you may actually have no one who's really incentivized to work proactively and aggressively on your behalf. The second thing to consider is that agents may want to bring you the quickest offer to tie it up with the least effort, and this might not actually be the best offer that you could achieve. Again, they might be communicating to potential buyers to make any offer and then pressuring you as a seller to accept it, because that creates a winning strategy for them of delivering the quickest deal first and getting it tied up. Thirdly, many buyers, when they see a listing on the same portals again and again and again with different agents, they'll have the perception that the seller is desperate with no strategy or that there's something wrong with the property. And remember, you're subject to whatever quality of description and presentation that the agents will do. And so really, you're almost at the weakest common denominator in terms of how your home is being presented. I work on behalf of a lot of buyers, and I love to see a property on with multiple agents, as I'll try to pick off the weakest agent and push the cheapest offer, because I know that they will push that deal on my behalf to get it tied up. The fourth thing to consider is often the multiple agency strategy will cost you more. In central London, sellers typically pay 2% for a sole agency, but 3% for a multiple agency. So in essence, you're paying more for a weaker strategy that might get you less money in terms of the asking price you achieve, and pay more commission. There are several other actual drawbacks to multiple agency strategy, but in the interest of time, I'll conclude my list here. If you're a seller considering a multiple agency strategy and have questions, please drop me a message or get in touch. I'll be happy to walk you through the major things you need to consider to make sure you're aware. Coming back to my list on the 5 things that you as a seller want to avoid and that might make sellers not get their home sold is not being clear on a marketing strategy. Many sellers think that all agents are the same and it's just a matter of taking pictures and putting it on the national portals. Perhaps during the years when the London property market was booming, many properties could sell with minimum effort. In today's buyer's market, you need a marketing strategy that is clear on pricing, presentation, and proactive marketing, especially if you have a home that may appeal to a certain particular type of buyer, such as an overseas buyer or investor. If your agent isn't discussing with you a strategy to attract those buyers, and also honestly having a conversation about a plan B as to what happens if you don't get the response from the market that you're anticipating, then it might be time to consider a new agent. So what did you think of my list of the top 5 mistakes as a seller you should avoid? Drop me a comment in the section below, as I'd love to hear from you if you've made any of these mistakes or you have others you would advise others to avoid. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to check out the other videos on my YouTube channel where I share great things about the London property market and living in this incredible city. So that's Arinzeh with ONYX Property Team and Keller Williams. Bye for now.